Welcome, YouTube world. I'm Gabriel Flores, also known as the one and only Maybe Lee. Today is another episode. I hope you guys have been following my talk show. If you haven't, if this is the first time, go back to my playlist and check out the other episodes I created so you can get caught up on the topics. And also, just another reminder, the finale is coming up in about 13 days or something like that. It's going to last 2 days. And the finale is like my mountain in this life and features a famous producer. The climax that leads up to it is there's a climax that leads up to it, and the climax is like the culmination of all my secrets to this life. And so, I really urge you guys stick around in the coming days because that climax is going to come up soon. And, everything I know, all the stuff I know, all the cool stuff I know and shit like that is going to be leading up to the finale. So I urge you guys to really watch it, and then plus, you want to hear about a lesson I've learned and stuff like that. A little bit, something positive that's come out of my life so far. Stick around. That's what it's about. That's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to ascend higher plateaus in everything that we do. That's the goal. And so that's exciting. And a little bit about the show. The entire show is already planned. Everything, all the topics are pre-planned. Each show has 2 topics paired together. Each morning of airing, I gather my thoughts and I do research and stuff like that. And that's about it. And then every day at 4 o'clock, we record for 17 minutes. And, so far, those specs about the show, of course, they're goals, but they're not set in stone. I'm not going to shoot myself if I miss one of the goals. But those are the goals. Those are the benchmarks. And I try to stick to as close to them as possible. Because for me, in this life, goals are important. Little goals like that are super important. When you have countervailing forces such as evilness and wicked things going on, little goals like that go a long way for me. And so that's why I try to stick to those as close as possible. So, overall, I've done pretty good. There's questions out there that I have about the topics I pair together, about the research that I do. There's questions and stuff, and I just kind of play those as they come along. And, if I can't, pretty much all of the time I've made the 4 o'clock deadline. But today I almost didn't make it, and I was just like, I'll record as soon as I can, as close to 4 as I can. Either before, I was going to do it before, and then I said, no, I'll just do it when I get back. And so, but I ended up making it just barely. I almost forgot, but because I was busy today, but then last minute I looked at the clock and I was like a few minutes before, so I made it. But that's a little bit about the show and stuff. So I want to talk about one of my poems called Derailed Hike. It's basically a poem I wrote. It was supposed to be... the reason why I want to talk about this poem is because, I was going to perform it and I never got to perform it, so I figure I can talk about it now. It's called Derailed Hike. And so I originally wrote it as a poem, and I had in mind an audience because I was going to perform it. So it's a little bit unique compared to some of the other stuff that you see me putting out. Because that was a main factor for me in writing this poem, is the audience. I didn't want to put too much of iffy stuff in there as far as swear words and just bad language and stuff like that. As opposed to rap, you can kind of talk slang, you can do swear words. That's what rap is about. It's about swearing. It's about slang, the slang where you're from, and basically just following the older OGs of what they've done in their rap stuff. That's what rap's about. But for this poem, I had that in mind. So that's what makes it kind of unique. So that's why this is different from the stuff that pretty much all of the stuff I put out. It's different from everything that I put out because mainly I do rap, and some people say rap is poetry and stuff like that. The opinion's yours, but Derailed Hike is an outstanding work that I've done because it's different in that way compared to my raps. And I usually only do raps, and this one is special. And it's basically kind of a deeper story. I tried to reach deeper and try to do something like a little bit deeper and stuff. And it's basically about my connection with Mother Nature and stuff like that, and how money, my personal financial situation, ties into Mother Nature, and how me forgetting to set money aside and spending money on a pair of jeans. This pair of jeans is kind of symbolic because, of course, I don't have just one pair of jeans or even a favorite pair of jeans for that matter. I don't really have a favorite pair of jeans, but in the story, I use a pair of jeans as a symbolic thing that I spent my money on. I spent all of my money on this really nice pair of jeans, Christian Dior, take your pick, True Religion or something, $1,000 pair of jeans. And in my mind, I forgot, the pair of jeans was the most important thing on my mind because I wanted to impress this girl. I wanted to impress my homeboys. I wanted to be what I saw in front of me on the TV and stuff like that. So when I had this money, I spent it on the most important thing in my mind. But was it really the most important thing in my mind? Because I talk about after I spent it, I was left with no money. I had $0. And I wanted to go on a hike. I wanted to go out to Mother Nature because I like Mother Nature. I want to have some free time. Not because I didn't have money, but I was just, usually annually I go on an annual hike. And so the annual hike was around this year at this time, and I wanted to go on the hike. But I spent all my money on this pair of jeans. And so I'm like, crap, now I can't go on I can't even have time with Mother Nature without $1. It takes $1 to be at one with Mother Nature in this case. And then I start thinking, and then I get this magical thinking power. Well, maybe I can just walk around the neighborhood. Maybe I can just walk to the store. Maybe I can just think about the last time I was out there with Mother Nature. And maybe I can just try to take myself there in my mind and imagine being there. And it happens, boom. This magical thing happens in my mind where I can see the last place I hiked. I can see all the details, and it's even more vivid than actually being there, it seems like, as I'm sitting on my bed in my pair of jeans. But, I have the magical power to think, to imagine, to actually just take myself there in my own mind. I've already been there. I know what it looks like. I know the layout. I know how it feels to put your feet up one in front of the other and climb the grade up to the top of the peak that I was thinking about. And I finally come to and come back into the place that I'm really at in my room. And I'm like, wow, these pair of jeans gave me a magical power to imagine and to think. I almost felt like I was really there. These are my new favorite pair of jeans. That's basically the gist of it. But the main point is what I tried to, the higher thing I tried to put in there is the symbolic pair of jeans. Because, maybe it wasn't a pair of jeans or not. I'm not like picking on a pair of jeans. But part of it is true because I like to have nice clothes too. So part of it is true, but I just in the story, boom, I focus on that one aspect because I'm reaching higher, but I'm also limited in time and space. So it's kind of like you have to make a intelligent decision at that point, and that's what I chose. And the other thing is, being conscious, being conscious of your actions. Can you really be 100% conscious? Can you be 100% conscious of your actions, even a single action? And so it's a question that I pose out there, and I think it's an important question for people to discuss and think about. And so that's why I put it in there. I really wished I could have performed it, but I ended up in the hospital. I had an anxiety attack, and I was admitted to the Carl T. Hayden VA for like 2 or 3 weeks. And so that's why I couldn't perform it. And since then, I've been strained with time, money, and resources. So I haven't been able to get back to the library to find out when the next one is. But, I will get back there eventually because my main goal is to perform, to really get comfortable with performing and perform all the time, because my piece of work has to encompass the type of audience that I can get to, that I have access to, that's a part of my group, my local group, and that's where my local group is at. So my works really have to have those calculations in there. So anyways, this is a story about one of my poems. And so, yeah, one of my poems, like I said, Derailed Hike, is considered a poem because I didn't write it as a rap. So personally, I make the distinction between raps and poems. And the main one is having your audience in mind, like you're going to perform in front of them, and being able to perform it in front of them. I consider that a poem. A rap, I could perform in front of an audience, but it would have to be a certain audience. And a rap, you have the rap mindset in mind, like I already explained to you, swear words, slang, and also what you've learned from other rap artists in the past. That's rap. If you don't do a piece of work with that in mind, it's a poem for me. So this is a story about one of my poems. Another really good, I want to talk about Tupac Shakur because he's an artist, and he's known for writing really good poems or raps. Some people say his raps are poems. I say they're raps, but they get deep. Some of his songs get really deep. For example, Ghetto Gospel. Go to the web address www.en.m.wikipedia.org, which is the website Wikipedia. The article is entitled Ghetto Gospel. And, it just talks about Tupac, how he wrote this song and stuff like that. He wrote it before before he died. He's dead now. Most of you probably already know that. But it gets pretty close to what somebody could consider a poem, maybe, because he wrote it as a thing for street violence that was happening around the time that he was living, racism and all that stuff, according to the article. And he makes a tribute to Malcolm X and Bobby Hunt. I know who Malcolm X is. Malcolm X is the guy who said by any means necessary. So he's somebody who's willing to do bad things to achieve the goal of equality. He says by any means necessary. That's what Malcolm X was about. I'm not quite sure who Bobby Hunt was, but he dedicates it to him as well. So he must be a prominent figure in the racism scene back then. And, an interesting fact about this is Eminem produced it. The hook features Elton John's one of his old songs. Neither Tupac nor Elton John was in the music video. And the song was officially released after Tupac was dead. And there's multiple versions of it because he did this song before he was dead. He wrote it and he performed some different versions before he was dead, but he never released it. And the final version, the official one, Eminem released it. And, the article, all this came from the article. And also the article says that parts of it seem as though Tupac's voice is digitally created. So it might not even be his voice, that Eminem produced a fake Tupac voice in there, which I think is pretty cool, if you ask me. Another thing, it's a really good song. It has a really high emotional IQ in the song, which is surprising because in the U.S. it didn't even pop up on the charts. It didn't receive any awards or certifications or anything in the U.S., but in other places around the world it did. Check out this song, guys, Ghetto Gospel by Tupac Shakur, featuring Elton John and produced by Eminem. It was, like I said, it was released after he was dead, so it's a posthumous album. And Tupac has several posthumous albums, so, check out some of his other stuff too, his other works. That's been released after his death because it's good stuff. And remember, though, that he did these things. He wrote these songs. So you can see, he's an artist that transcends a lot of things. See you later, guys. Have a good day.